Hi dear cricket fans, friends and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram. Well, in this particular cricket show, what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at the second T20 match between New Zealand and England. As I said, it would be a high scoring game. I wouldn't say it was a really high scoring game because the New Zealand bowlers were really up to the mark. They bowled very well and they restricted England to a score of 137 in response to New Zealand scoring 192, and that's it. I mean, they were all out for 137 England in reply to the New Zealand total of 192, and New Zealand won the match by 55 runs. Then I will also just do. I mean, today there's going to be the only T20 solitary T20 going to be played between Australia and West Indies, but Australia are without all the big stars who are in India, and as far as West Indies are concerned, the T20 World Cup champions get one final stab at Australia, and whether they can do it against the reserve talent that is available in the Australian team, that remains to be seen. So, but that would be the only victory that West Indies will have, because they were swamped 5-0 in the One Day International Series, as you all know. And then we will have a look at how Australia fared on the first day, in the first two games that they played. But unfortunately, I wouldn't say Australia fared well. They have looked pretty fallible against spin, which I'll talk about. But what I'm going to start off is between New Zealand and England, the second T20 match. As I said, the ground was small. There was a lot of sixes to be hit. Yes, sixes were definitely hit. But today it was a different tale to tell, and it all turned New Zealand's way, and New Zealand went on to level the series 1-1. The third one, which is coming up between New Zealand and England at Wellington, is going to be a real cruncher, I would say. Well, just looking at this match here, New Zealand were the ones who actually batted first, because England won the toss and elected. I thought it was a good decision because it was cloudy conditions, and Stuart Broad decided to put the opposition in. In fact, this was played at Seddon Park in Hamilton. So New Zealand batted first, and they were led by a very, very good opening start. They had a good opening start from Martin Guptill and Hamish Rutherford, and they put on 75 in 9 overs. So one good thing which used to happen for New Zealand, as I've been saying that all through my Cricket Happening show, is Martin Guptill, who is showing some good form. He's finally getting into form, and that is absolute good news for New Zealand, with England going to play test matches and one-day internationals. So Martin Guptill started it off all with playing a very good knock. Rutherford, on the other hand, was very, very impressive today. Today he hit 40 runs of just 27 deliveries, 1 4 and 3 sixes. In fact, he hit sixes of the bowling of Samit Patel. He hit Stuart Broad for a 6. He hit I thought Dernbash for a 6. In fact, they had 3 sixes in all with 1 4. But what was important for New Zealand was they had a very great start. 75 for 1 in 9 overs, with Martin Guptill also playing some attractive strokes, and both of them putting on 75 for the first wicket. So the impetus was definitely given by the openers, with Guptill's contribution being 47 of 31 balls with 4 fours and 2 sixes. Hamish Rutherford impressed one and all with a very neat knock of 40 of 27 balls with 1 4 and 3 sixes. He was more the aggressor, I would say. And then Brendan McCullum, the captain, came in and really stamped his class there with a very, very punishing innings of 74 of just 38 deliveries. And you know what Brendan McCullum is capable of. He's such a good 2020 player. He went in and slammed the English bowlers all across the park to have 74 to his name, made of just 38 deliveries, 6 fours and 5 sixes. So that is what really enabled. Only if you see, only the top 3 really got into double figures, but that really didn't matter, because McCullum's punishing innings had taken New Zealand to a very tall score of 192 for 6. It was pretty much needed on this particular ground. As I said, there are short boundaries, so 192 for 6 was what New Zealand put on the board. Ross Taylor was out cheaply for 4 of 6 deliveries. Colin Munro was out for 7 of just 8 deliveries with 1 4, and Grant Elliott was also out for 4. In the end, Franklin was not out on 6, and Nathan McCullum was not out on 192 for 6 on the board of 20 overs for New Zealand. The bowling figures, well, Treadwell, 2 overs, 20 runs on 1 wicket for him. Stuart Broad today leaked runs plenty. He was getting a lot of tap from all the batsmen, Guptill, Rutherford and Brendan McCullum. 4 overs cost him 53 runs. Stephen Finn, I thought he bowled well, 4 overs, none for 33. Dernbash, I wouldn't say he really bowled well, but he took the wickets, 3 for 38 for him. Luke Wright, 4 overs, 2 for 24. As usual, he was economical and he also was amongst the wickets. And Samit Patel bowled 2 overs for 20 runs. As far as England were concerned, now England, as you know, the target of 192 on a short ground, they would have fancied themselves. But today, let me tell you, some great bowling from the New Zealand bowlers. I would definitely look at the New Zealand bowlers, barring Trent Boult, who leaked 40 runs of his 4 overs. Just look at this. Ian Butler, who made a comeback into the New Zealand team, and after seeing Ian Butler looking pretty slim and pretty tall too, and he was bowling absolutely in the right areas, he was the one who started it off all. In fact, Michael McClanahan was the person who actually started it off all by first getting Alex Hales clean bowled for 5 of just 4 balls with 1-4. After that, Luke Wright was also claimed by McClanahan in the same over. In fact, of the very next delivery, he picked up Luke Wright's wicket. He was caught by Guptill trying to edge one, and he was caught by Guptill of McClanahan for a duck, and that made the score 9 for 2. Barristow walked in to join Michael Lumb. Michael Lumb was looking pretty shaky at the crease, I would say, but Jonathan Barristow, this is the time Butler was brought into the attack after Trent Boult was removed from the attack. Ian Butler came in, and Ian Butler, as I said, bowled in the right areas. He was the one. First it was Michael McClanahan who gave the breakthrough. After that, Ian Butler came in and made sure that England wouldn't be getting any liberties. He was absolutely on the money, and he gave away a few runs, and that's what piled on the pressure on the Englishman. In fact, he came in and first picked up the wicket of Jonathan Barristow, who was caught by McClanahan on the bowling of Butler for 8 of 9 balls with 2-4. So that made the score 24 for 3. And as I said, Lumb was absolutely dismissed from his misery, I would say, because Nathan McCullum, the right-arm spinner, clean bowled him for 17 of 23 balls with 2 fours, which made the score 43 for 4, and New Zealand were on the ascendant there. In fact, the 43 for 4 soon became 47 for 5, as Ian Morgan, who was a doubtful starter, was playing today, which was good news for England. But well, Ian Morgan also faltered to the bowling of Butler. Scott Munro bowled Butler for 13 of 22 balls, and half the side were into the pavilion for 47 runs. So then Samit Patel was partnered by Stuart Broad. Samit Patel was run out by Trent Boult for 6. In fact, the only person who played there and really gave some, I wouldn't say hope, but definitely tried to make a fist of it, was Josh Butler, who made 54 runs of 30 balls with 9 fours and 1 6. It was his first 50 in T20 cricket, but that was a pretty impressive innings from Josh Butler. You know what a good T20 specialist he is. He made 54 runs of 30 balls with 9 fours and 1 6. So that was the only shining part for England. Other than that, Treadwell contributed 22 of 11 balls with 3 fours and 1 6. And it was also after McClanahan and Ian Boult had done the job. I said that the New Zealand bowlers were absolutely swarming over England because after McClanahan got 4 overs no made and 24 runs and 2 wickets, and Ian Butler bowled 4 overs no made and 9 runs and 2 wickets. Nathan McCullum chipping in 1 for 26. James Franklin came in and picked up all the lower order wickets to have England all out for 137. James Franklin 3.3 overs no maiden, 15 runs and 4 wickets, and Grant Elliott bowled 1 over where George Butler took him for 20 runs, and that was all over. In fact, England had folded up for 137, in the process losing the match by 55 runs, and New Zealand had levelled the series 1-1. As I said, the cruncher is coming on in the third T20 match, which starts on 15th of February at the Basin Reserve in Wellington. So that is as far as this particular match is concerned. I'm sure Brendan McCullum would be the man of the match for this for sure. But as I said, the New Zealand bowlers were absolutely up to the task. First, the New Zealand batsmen did their job, and then the New Zealand bowlers came in and did their job, and that is what enabled them to actually defeat England and level the series. Well, very quickly now, just going to run through this right now, because today we have the last match that West Indies is playing on the tour of Australia. As you know, they were swamped 5-0, but this is going to be a T20 match, and West Indies are the World Cup champions. And what West Indies have in their favour, because all the main Australian players are out doing duty in India, and George Bailey is the captain of the team, so that is the only main player who is there. Other than that, it looks to be like a reserve talent, but still Australia definitely have talent. But I thought West Indies have at least one opportunity now to put it across Australia, and at least while they leave for home home, at least they'll be happy that at least they had one win under the belt. But whether the reserve talent in Australia is going to do it, if the reserve talent in Australia is going to defeat the T20 World Cup champions West Indies, that would be a feather in their cap. Will the Australian team reach Aaron Finch? Sean Marsh will open the innings. Adam Vokes, or it will be Joe Burns, who has been pretty talented. George Bailey is the captain of the team. Ben Roder has been scoring very consistently in Australian domestic cricket. Brett Haddin, wicket-keeper. James Faulkner, who has been looking pretty impressive. Nathan Coulter-Nile, who is also a wonderful bowler. Ben Cutting looked pretty impressive the other day. Clint McKay, the best one-day international bowler in Australia. Ben Lawlin, or there's going to be George Hazlewood. So that is the team composition for Australia, the reserve talent team taking on the T20 World Cup champions West Indies. The West Indies can put it across them. That's going to be seen today. As far as West Indies are concerned, Chris Gayle, well, if he comes in, that would be something good news for West Indies, because Chris Gayle will open with Johnson Charles, who is in some great form. As you know, he got his maiden one-day international century. And Chris Gayle, if he could fire on all cylinders, I think it would be curtains for Australia. Chris Gayle and Johnson Charles. So one would be hoping that Chris Gayle hits the form at the right time. And then the brothers, Darren Bravo and Dwayne Bravo, Kieron Pollard, who got a century on a very mature knock from him the other day. Nassim Ryan, Devon Thomas, the wicket-keeper, Andre Russell, Dan Sammy, captain, Sunil Narine, Kemar Roche, or Tino Best. Probably they might go for Tino Best, because Tino Best has been bowling with extra pace all the way, and he has been absolutely perfect. He has been bowling a perfect line and length. Now, let's just before I go out from this YouTube broadcast, I would like to just give you the stump score on the first tour match which was played today at the India Cement Limited Guru Nanak College ground here in Chennai, where the Australians played their first match after landing in India, and they took on the President's 11. But I would say the Australians didn't have it well. In fact, they were the ones who won the toss, elected to bat, but their batsmen really found it a big struggle against a little-known spinner from Jammu and Kashmir, Parvez Rasool. He was the right-arm off spinner. He really weaved a web around the Australians with bowling 28.3 overs, 9 maidens, 45 runs, and he took 7 wickets. So that is something that Australia will be seriously looking at. As far as and then the 2 wickets were taken by another spinner. He's also I think Sarabjit Lada. There is another spinner who is there. He's a leg break bowler. 26 overs, 3 minutes, 90 runs on 2 wickets. So if you see the Australian score, 241 all out. 9 wickets have fallen to the spinners. 7 to the off spinner Parvez Rasool, and Sarabjit Lada, the right arm leg break bowler, took 2 wickets. Is that something to read in? Stuart Binney, 10 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 29. The pace bowlers couldn't get any wickets for the Australians. Shami Ahmed, 14 overs, 3 minutes, 50 runs on no wicket. Parvinder Ravana bowled 10 overs, 3 minutes, 17 runs on no wicket. Now, as far as what I would like to really tell here, as far as Australia were concerned, they were all out for 241, and that was the stump score on the first day. For Australia, the only good thing which happened, Ed Cowan at the top of the order made 58 with 8 fours and 1 6. Usman Khwaja got 32 with 5 boundaries. Matthew Wade, the captain, he got 35 with 1 4 and 2 6. 41 coming in from Stephen Smith with 3 fours. I wouldn't say it was a good hit for Australia, because they definitely showed their fallibility to the spin bowlers. As I said, 9 wickets out of 10 wickets, 9 out of 10 wickets have fallen to the spinners. So that really tells a tale as to how the Australian batsmen fared. And this is something that is going to be seriously looked at by the Australians for sure, because when they take on India with all the mainline spinners coming in. So, and other than that, there were Peter Siddle who made 16 with 2 boundaries, 22 coming from Peter Siddle. Moises Henriques made 16, and Nathan Lyon was not out on 12. Well, I'm not going to go into any of those details, but that is what Australia didn't have a good day, starting their tour match, being all out for 241. The spinners, the Indian spinners, taking 9 wickets in that 241 all out of Australia. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, I'm running short of time. I will have to end my cricket show for today. Thank you for your company, and keep watching Cricket Happenings. Your host Ram will be there tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye. Thank you.